space, not the planes in the sky, not the ships at sea, not the men, nor the vehicles on the ground.
Ecto Radio. The ghost hunting badasses.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Only on the Supernatural Radio Network. Beer-fueled, whiskey-filtered, paranormal radio.
And tonight on Ecto Radio, we're talking about more crappy ghost photographs and what are ghosts. So I'm the Hitman. To my left is the ever-lovely Racer, who's chosen to be with us tonight.
Chosen?
Her little ensemble here.
Hey, my moving closet.
So she found the ghost pictures, so if you don't like them... Actually, a lot of them are old.
Yeah.
A 35mm and whatnot. So, there you go. Zero Voorhees is absent. Says he has a good excuse. I think he's off filming Man vs. Supernatural again with Lifetime. That's usually the excuse he gives us. And hiding back over in the corner, as always, is Wicked Windy. Almost said the other one. Ooh.
Yeah.
Bad
careful.
Hitman.
Be careful.
Got to be careful.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, where these pictures came from, there's a little site called About. What is it? About.com, and it's the paranormal section of it, I think, if I'm correct. So I'll pull some of these up here, and we'll kind of see what we got. So you guys can, watch along, and if you think bullshit, that's what it is. But a lot of these are common mistakes. This one I thought was quite interesting. So what do you think there, Racer?
Let me lean in. It looks like something on the lens. Like something got in the way.
I've seen some stuff like this, and what's suspicious is the bottom half is dark, and the top half of it is white. What it looks like to me is somebody holding something in front of the camera. Because you see the white part is where it's clearing, the flash is clearing the lens of the camera and thus illuminating the top part of it. But the bottom part, of course, is still in shadow, and so flash isn't going to get it. Which is bad. That means that's fake bullshit right there.
BS.
That's bullshit. That's all it is. Next one, this was called... I don't know if it's actually like the bird. It's called the birdcage ghost. I don't know if they mean it was taken at the birdcage in Tombstone, Arizona or not. But this is what happens when you overanalyze things. They just had some weird shadow, and they ran it through a filter and did some stuff in Photoshop and altered it a little bit, and it's a ghost. Wearing those funky wraparound glasses, sunglasses or something up there.
It's always a ghost.
But that it's just over-processing the image till you see what you want to see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I don't know how many ghosts I've heard, though, wearing some Mad Dog shades.
Biker ghost.
Yeah.
It's a biker ghost. They're the worst kind. This is another one. This is also a 35mm. One of the interesting things about this was probably before the film was developed, it was exposed to light. And the big clue is you see the blue around the edges and then the kind of fading wisp. Long time ago, well, back when 35mm was the fad, I bet a couple of guys that I knew that I could pass some images off as real ghosts because I was trying to prove that photography is worthless in paranormal investigation. This was way back in my hardcore skeptic days, and that's one of the techniques. It's actually pretty easy to do. You take a piece of, like our fridge, which is black, you just put a piece of paper or something on it, and you photograph it with a flash, and then go in a dark place with absolutely no light and rewind the film back up, load it back in, and then ghost pictures. So it's actually pretty easy to do. This one's a little funky. It looks a little bit on the bigger resolution because we're having to look at the little screen on our video thing here, but there's a face circled. This was probably the most interesting because even though it's pareidolia, it's very convincing. It does actually look like a face. There's a lot of detail to that face. But if that's some homeboy, he's like 5 feet in the ground, sticking up out of the ground or something. He's way out of proportion. More than likely, It's something in the background. And what I was curious about, you see these two green objects next to this guy in the white T-shirt here?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is that? Is that something in the background? Is that something they brought with them? Because that's kind of keying me off that something's wrong with that. And then when I zoomed in, you could tell this was actually cropped and put into the image. If you adjust the contrast of your screen, you can actually see the little block where they didn't even cut it out, meaning they didn't trace around the head. They didn't do that. They just made a block, copy, paste, and put it into the photograph. And
Come on, that is just lazy.
That's lazy faking is what it is.
If you're gonna fake, go 100%.
Yeah. At least use the trim tool, for crying out loud.
Jeez.
Here's another one. Eek! So they were taking a picture of apparently this guy. Look at my car. It's all broken and stuff. But look, in the car in front, there's a face. Ooh. Now, they're making a lot of assumptions when you read the description of the photograph. They were just taking a picture of this guy in his car and whatever. And they're assuming that must be a face, and it has to be angled up because of the back angle of the windshield of, what does that look like, a Camaro or something parked in front?
Yeah.
And they're true. If you look right up here on the top of the face, you see a little bit of green. There's a clue of what they're looking at. We can see it in the background. There's a lot of trees hanging around. More than likely, we don't have a face at all. You're capturing the environment. That's one of the big rules, man. Never take pictures of ghosts through glass or in a mirror or anything like that, because you can get all kinds of weird effects.
That's a big one, too. I was taking a photo of this mirror, and look what popped up, and it's like immediate face palm, you know? Like, what the hell?
I did that once. I was going to post it on Facebook, and then wait, my ass looks too big. I can't post that photo. So I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take pictures of mirrors. Here's another one. Big. I love the way the blurring of the face actually looks weirder than the damn paranormal thing. Once again, it's kind of given away. This is an object that's stuck down
into
the field of view. And so once again, where the light has hit it, so we can tell automatically just from looking at the picture. I can tell you the flash is on the left-hand side of the camera because the right side has a little bit of shadow. I don't know, maybe a drinking straw, or it could be part of a strap. It could be a hair. It could be a slew.
It almost looks like a cigarette, like they were holding
could have been a cigarette.
that they
oh
hadn't
yeah,
lit yet.
holding a cigarette in their fingers and.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what it looks like to me.
That very well is a very good possibility. Look at you getting all like skeptical and figuring it out and stuff. These are tree fairies. Not. Yes, if you use your flash in the daytime, you can get orbs in the daytime. They're just dust particles. Not fairies.
It's funny, speaking of dust particles, I was, I like to flip through some of these Facebook profiles, and this one girl had put up a disclaimer on her site, and she said, it's okay to not believe in orbs, but you need to respect that a lot of us do believe in orbs, and sometimes orbs are real. And it had about 60 comments of people calling her, expletive deleted. I can't talk, whatever. Expletive deleted.
We put it out there. If you just want to convince us if this is really something paranormal, get two cameras, put them at least a foot apart, fire a picture at the same time with both cameras, and if the objects appear in exactly the same place in both pictures, okay, I will listen to you. I will humor your discussion of how you think it's paranormal. Without that, you don't have any controls, and it's going to be dust. I think it's even more silly. This is a Civil War ghost. Does anybody else see a tree, or is it just me? Because I really think this is a massive amount of pareidolia. You can look, that's a tree back there, man. They're saying, okay, look, that's like, or those. You ever seen those weird tree sculptures that they sell at the markets, where it has the long mustache coming out of it? That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
That's a tree. And they're saying this is a mustache and that's his head. No, that's a freaking tree, man. That's called true believer syndrome.
Yeah, that is.
You really want... Oh,
that's grasping.
We were at a haunted Civil War battlefield bridge thing.
Haunted
and I really want to see a ghost. Ooh, look, there's one. I like
okay,
this one.
This is called learn how to take a freaking picture.
Without moving the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so many people pass them off as paranormal. Those images are just the girls. They're moving while this camera, which is probably on a 1 second exposure, is being taken, and it creates this kind of stuff. So many of those these days.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona ghost hunters, not calling you out or anything, but your shit ain't paranormal. Your energy rods.
Supercharged light rods.
Supercharged light rod.
Supercharged light rods. This one, this is where you really look at a picture too long. This is Devil's Den in Gettysburg. And so they blew it up there.
And it's a crying child.
Crying something?
I don't know what it...
It's the rock. It's just the way the rock is, but it looks like there's something there.
It looks like a lady with a bob haircut.
Can't you see it?
It looks like it's me!
And she's got her head kind of, it's the Matrix.
She's sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
I sense from the photo she's very sad because she's just a rock.
But, it's so many of them are like this, man. It's just you really want to see a ghost, so you're going to. If you really want to, you will. This one's a little more trickier. This photograph of a door. They're saying that's a face. It's hard to see. My screen's a little, but you can see the top part here above this board, which is like cutting through his face. There's the hair, top part of his forehead, his eye, and then I guess below his, I think, a shoulder, beard, or I don't know, who the hell knows what. What do you think about this one?
Well, it's kind of hard to see. This is 35 millimeter?
Yeah. Another 35 millimeter.
It's hard to see.
More than likely, when you get an orangish hue in 35 millimeter, it's usually that double exposure, that trick I was telling you about.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that every one like that is intentionally faked. A lot of times there is mistakes that happen in developing the roll. The guy cracked it open before it was completely dark because I'm getting late in 30 minutes. I got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Got to go buy condoms. And, it accidentally exposes part of it. The rest of it's pareidolia, working out the door. But it's not paranormal. But still, that one, I've actually fallen for these. I remember back in the old days, before digital, we would take 35 millimeter photographs, and then we would take them down to get them developed. And that was actually my favorite part because everybody would be hanging out, and we'd have beer, or we'd go to a coffee shop and be drinking. All right. And then when we get all the pictures in, $80 later, back then, you have all these pictures. All right, you take this one, you take this one, you take this one when we're going through, and you get something weird because you don't normally get anything at all. Yeah, I can see where it would create debate, but
Right.
yeah, you get actually somebody knows what they're doing looking at it. It's not paranormal. All right, so here's another one. This is the butt ghost haunting a child. I'm sorry. Once again, this is something close to the lens. You see where it's bleeding the shadow, and that's kind of an effect, that overbleed.
Kind of looks like hair.
It could be a finger. Well, this one's a little bit tricky because it depends. The flash on this camera looks like it's on the right-hand side because you can see which way the light's hitting.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was just like something in front of the lens, it would have to be low and it'd have to be out of the flash of the camera to come out dark like that. Another possibility is something actually on the lens.
Yeah.
Dirt or whatever.
Caca, because it's a butt ghost.
A booger. Who knows? People do nasty shit with their cameras these days.
I've heard, Hitman.
Huh? What?
I said I've heard, Hitman.
Not that kind of nasty stuff, Racer. Later. This one was ghost in the mirror, in the doorway, the window, looking out.
I could see how that would look really creepy. But it's like you said, I mean, you're taking a photograph through a reflective surface.
Well, we need to get some unsolved ones here. Let's see what we got. How about fairies?
That's a spider.
It's a fairy.
It's a spider.
They said, this is a fairy. We were practicing Wicca in the graveyard, and we were summoning the Fae to protect our ancient circle.
And this.
It's obviously, it's a bug, spider, could be a dragonfly. People,
Well, I don't know. I can only see 6 legs, but
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're right. There is 6 legs.
It must be the six-legged face spider.
Which would have sucked, because if it's in a web, you just walk right through that bitch to get over there.
Exactly. And it's pissed.
And, of course, we're not going to be talking about that. I wouldn't post that picture, the guy with the camera. Oh, there's a spider. Yeah. I got ectoplasm on me. That's what
Speaking
they
of
would say.
ectoplasm.
All right, this is a tricky one. See if you can figure this one out.
Is there any way to tilt your screen a little bit? Come on, Hitman. There we go.
Mysterious green goo. Is it Ghostbusters? Is it Slimer?
I don't know. It's kind of off to the side. It almost looks like it could be a TV.
This one really fooled me the first time I had it happen. Because it's not the fault of the photographer. I was in Big Nose Kate's, and we were down checking out the swampa. We, once again, old days, 35mm camera, took the photographs, came all the way back to New Mexico and had them developed. And we had green stripes going across that area right before you get to a cell. We're like, oh, my God! Paranormal activity. Well, we took it back over there, and we were trying to look, oh, man, we got a real photograph. And we had someone on a tour. Actually, I developed photographs, and that's a dirty roller.
Oh,
When it was
wow.
going through the processor, it partially jacked your film, and they'll always be green like that. And on ours, it was a little bit more prevalent because it's going horizontally. So we were like, oh, son of a
See, to me,
bitch.
like the way that the photo is set up, it almost looks like it's coming off of a TV.
Well, so you can see where that would fool somebody.
Yeah.
Though. This is supposed to be a graveyard apparition.
This is really hard to see.
So on the right, you see the little head and the shoulders, which is like way the hell over here.
It actually looks like maybe the top of a tombstone.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
This is or
Fence post.
Photoshop. We don't know. These have been altered so much. There's no exit files on any of them. But if you're having to resort to that, okay, it's that thing way in the distance. That's an apparition that we caught 50 yards away. Yeah, right. Well, actually, it's right here. You can see it right there. Yeah.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah, it's not anything really cool. Okay, what about this one?
Well, it looks like a ladder, and it looks like a towel on a ladder.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Look up here
Or
on
a
the
sheet,
on
like
the.
a painting sheet.
What's interesting is look at the exposure. If you see the scaffolding, and if you look over here, there's some guys that are working. There's 2
Yeah.
or 3 guys up there working, and they're completely black.
Yeah, to me, it looks like a painting sheet.
Yeah, just something that the workers hung over.
Yeah, it
Something.
doesn't look like...
We didn't notice it when we were there. Well, because you saw a sheet that the workers hung up. You didn't see a ghost. When you went back and printed the photograph a week later,
Yeah.
you saw a ghost because that's what you wanted to see. We already went over this one.
Yeah.
Same thing. This is what I call radioactive peni syndrome.
I don't know what's scarier, the kid's outfit there or the penile.
Don't hump radioactive sources, ladies and gentlemen. This could happen to you.
Show
What was that movie where they had the glow-in-the-dark condoms with? Anyway. Yeah. There you go. Same thing. Photographic error. This is a Polaroid.
Oh, that's just a damaged.
Now, yeah, the top part is actually missing, so that's not the
It's-
freaky part. They're saying it's an apparition of a girl because it's see-through, but once again, there's that orange.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find those, and I want to bring them in one of these days. Because there was some where we were replicating them where we were taking pictures of brides, and we cut them out, and then we put them against the black background and snapped it, and then went back, and they look just like that. So that's how I know that's what it is. Although it's interesting because it's a Polaroid. It'd be a little bit harder to fake a Polaroid image, but
Yeah.
Anything's possible if you really try. They're saying there's a mist in the center.
It looks like a sprinkler.
Yeah, could be.
That's what-
Could be a sprinkler. It could be anything. Could be a hair at a distance.
Oh my God! Supercharged light rod.
rods.
All over this poor dude's face. Once again, long shutter speed. Now we're going to get ridiculous.
Oh gosh.
This isn't even ghost oriented, but I want to show you how ridiculous Pareidola gets. On the moon, there is a nativity scene.
Oh.
As you can see by this highly detailed drawing, the nativity is actually on the moon, And there's little baby Jesus, and there's Joseph, and Mary's over here. There's the three wise men. See them?
I do.
Drinking beers. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Just shows you how silly it gets.
Yeah.
How much that believer syndrome kicks in.
Wow. Wow. Whoa.
This is 2 in 1. Orb. Orb bug. Orb bug. Orb bug. Orb bug. The orb one was interesting. See the glow around it and the little dots?
Yeah.
I can even tell you what it is based on diffraction. That's mold.
Oh.
The other one, of course, is insect. Wow, I didn't know I actually copied an animated GIF thingy, but that's pretty cool. We now know they work. This one's kind of tricky.
Are we talking about the tweaker in the photo or the... I'm just kidding. That...
There's a dead giveaway that it's an exposure error. Well, it's not exposure. This is a developing error. You see how the ray of light or whatever the hell has a bigger size and then it goes to this middle one? Okay, right there is where the frame cuts off. So if you're going to like fake it, you're say we put our thing on the black screen with a piece of paper, right? We took a picture, then we advanced it a couple, and then we took another picture and advanced it. Each time you advance it, it cuts that frame into the negative. So this is actually where it cut in. So this is the next image, but because when they realigned the film, it wasn't lined up exactly the same way. It's actually cutting in. So this is part of the other faked one. And that's actually how a lot of times when they're analyzing 35 millimeter negatives, how they would spot the fake. Because it takes a lot of skill to actually line it up, to actually make it work right. Very hard to do. And obviously fail on this one. Ooh.
A vortex.
A tornado.
The paranormal tornado in this dude's living room. His
Looks
mom is going to be pissed.
Yeah.
What fools? These really did fool people for a long time. This says it's more likely a camera strap, could be a hair. But what fools people is the shadow that falls behind it, because they try to put it together with logic. Well, if it was something in front of the lens, it wouldn't leave a shadow on the wall.
But there's no shadow on the wall.
Right underneath it. And that's how they'll say that, oh, it must be
Paranormal,
there.
yeah.
It's not. It's actually going to do that because it's in front of the flash,
so
and
the
it's going to
flash-
create a shadow.
Yeah.
Foo. This one's a little more trickier. Taken in Poland, if I remember right.
Are we talking about what's in the background
Yeah,
there?
this thing right
On
here.
the tree?
Back in the upper, in the left.
That's on a tree, right?
Yeah. This is a creepy stalker ghost going, get me some of that later on down the trail.
Stalking some Hermione Granger.
What do you think that one is?
It from where I am, because I'm looking at the screen and it's small. It looks like the tree. It looks like
It's part of the tree out of
Yeah.
focus. Could be moss on it. It
Yeah.
could be a many, many, many things. But keep in mind on the camera, this is 35 millimeter as well. It's focused in on the girl. That's where the exposure is set to that focal length, so anything in the background can get blurred. So there's something, it's an artifact, definitely not paranormal though.
smoke.
Do we really have to go over this? Smoke or breath? Oh, energy rays. This is what happens when I undo my zipper. Little rays of light come flying out in different colors. Part of this is smoke. You see the swirling? Down here, this is obviously overexposure. So it was left on a very long exposure, which is probably why it looks more blurred that way.
Right.
Rather than just like a regular smoke. Just shows you a different effect you can get with smoke. You change the exposure. Then it really sucks to have your wedding picture and, well, the relatives showed up, Martha. Aunt Cleo, Uncle Jethro, they're there. Along with their dog, Albert. See a little smiling face. The face in the middle. I disapprove of this marriage. That's your cousin.
Oh, I see. Okay. See, I see bad photography. It almost looks like Captain Spaulding from the Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, yeah. Once again, that's a developing error. You can tell once again by the green, the different Unlike the red streak of death through your son's face. Now, obviously that's a developing error, but they went on to say, if you look over on the left, see that? There's a man sitting there. And they're looking at that lighter shade in the red.
Yeah.
And they're looking into it too much. Pareidola, they're seeing a man's face. So, Satan is sitting with my boy and, playing with him. So, yeah, it just is. Oh, the sacred
Sneeze.
wedding dove ghost, which is, of course, an insect. We're just burning through these too quick. Oh, another ghost in the window of an old dilapidated house. Kinda looks
Stop
like
taking photos through windows and mirrors.
no kidding, but this is what happens. Sometimes people do this crap all
Stop
the
it.
time. All the time. So there you go. Ghost pictures.
Okay, so if any of you guys have pictures you want to send us and you want the hitman to attempt to debunk it, you can email those to us at
ectoradio@gmail.com.
so ectoradio@gmail.com. We'll throw it up there, and he'll look at it, and he'll say,
Bah humbug.
"It's a bug! It's my penis!"
You ready to do news?
Yes.
Okay. Hang on here.
Welcome to Post-Mortem, the latest paranormal news with Racer.
Is an orb, what we call an orb,
There's
that's going to
nothing
come
there.
right across the other bed and just kind of disappear right at the camera.
You're gonna see the shape around the corner which resembles a face.
Oh, pardon me, that's your ass.
We have to dig from here so as not to be seen. Come on, bitches.
All right, this little piece is paranormal news. It's called Classifications of Hauntings, Un-Hollywood Style. So they're saying that they are ignoring what the media has said, and they have their own classifications of un-Hollywood style haunts. And they talk about that there are many different classifications for a haunted place. I'm sure for those of us that are fans of paranormal TV shows, we know about this subject. Well, maybe some of the basics as answers to the different kinds of hauntings and how to identify them vary greatly depending on who you ask. Now, keep in mind that all of these are still theories, and nothing has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is one that we've actually talked about on Ecto Radio. A residual haunting is best described as a movie. No matter how many times you see it, it never changes. The outcome always stays the same. Theories can range from DNA being transferred to an object or a place from a traumatic event. So the DNA...
So everywhere I whacked off is haunted.
Ew. And I'm pretty sure that my sister, who is a doctor of genetics, would call bullshit on this one.
Yeah.
An intelligent haunt is typically considered to be a ghost spirit or otherworldly being that knows you're present and can respond to you. They like to make noises and move objects. Now, these types of hauntings are not typically what you see on TV and in the movies, as nothing is going to grab you and pull you down the hallway. And so they have subcategories, which are benevolent and malevolent spirits, and these are basically good and bad spirits.
Okay.
So get out your pens and paper, because apparently this is going to answer all your questions. Here are some tools that you can use to identify an intelligent haunt. Yes, you can use a K2 meter. Unless it responds directly to your questions, you should dismiss any other activity. So pick and choose what you want to use, basically. You can also use audio recorders, and different ways to use them are different. Classifications for voices that you can capture. There are underused items such as the touch lamp. Here's our favorite, the mag light. And if the touch lamp turns on, there is less doubt than the K2. The flashlight, on the other hand, is somewhat controversial. This tool, again, can only be used if it's responding directly to questions. Poltergeist. These are scary. Again, don't let the movie and TV shows get to you. Unlike the movie Poltergeist, these hauntings are usually caused by the subject themselves. Per my parapsychologist, I can't say the word. Per my parapsychologist handbook, there are two different types. The first is caused by someone under stress, anxiety, depression, and anger. The second is an actual ghost. And this article goes on to talk about demonic ghosts and the meanies, the bully ghosts.
Bully ghosts.
That'll pick on you.
Bullies?
Oh my.
But these are simple classifications to start so you can use these tools at any time. So, and this is written by, I like how they didn't put their name on there because they're embarrassed.
Probably was on there once they learned it was bullshit. Oh, get that off the internet.
Take it off of there now.
It'll affect my team.
This piece was actually pretty interesting. Again, I don't know why they're not putting their names on these. I guess they like to be kept anonymous. But it's regarding a test study that they were doing on paranormal slumber, to be or not to be. You're dead asleep in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden you jerk awake and find that you're unable to move. Then you see something floating back and forth over your bed. It stays there seeming to taunt you and disappears just as fast. So basically this article is talking about sleep paralysis, which is on this website. I got it. It's actually from a website called paranormalnews.com. But they're talking about how there are so many claims nowadays of people that are awoken by a spirit and they feel a heaviness on their chest, they can't move, and that it's just sleep paralysis. Once you enter the REM portion of sleep, your body actually starts to shut down. Your muscles are no longer, responding to you. So if you wake up from a dead sleep, you may have some problems moving. Happens to Hitman all the time. He doesn't even have to be sleeping. But this is basically talking about that.
Yeah, certain muscles seize up.
Yeah.
Then the cat comes in and goes, a mouse.
You're disgusting. You are disgusting. What else was there? There was something else I was wanting to talk about for paranormal news. It was, I don't remember. Damn.
Well, it must not have been too important.
No, it was funny, though.
It was funny.
I like funny.
I know.
Darn it.
I know. Boo.
Oh, we got to knock out at least the beginning part of this, even though we've kind of gone over from what we wanted to do. But that's okay. Real quick, we're going to go over water ghosts. Now, something very important to know if you're a ghost hunter is what the hell are we looking for? You figure, right?
Right.
Well, there actually has been research done on this topic. The Society for Psychical Research started it around late 1920s. There's been several parapsychologists and parapsychology experiments that have identified things. So real quickly, we can kind of go over these, and that will lead us into our big topic for next week. Okay, 1, apparitions. On apparitions, there's some constants. One is that they are always seen as solid, and people that actually see them can make out details. The person was wearing a skirt with a floral design, white shirt. They can make out details. They're not glowing, translucent, out of the corner of the eye, blurry. Almost all the time, those things are explainable. The second kind of apparition that they identified are deathbed visions, which are deceased relatives that come to you after their death. Most of the time once, on very rare occasions, you see them twice. So if someone comes in, 10 years ago, my grandpa saw him at my house right after he died. It's worthless going over to even check it out because the research says it's not going to happen again. He's not there hanging out. Next important thing was smells, olfactory senses. The big thing about these that is very, very important to understand is that they are overwhelming, overbearing. They reek, they smell. They're like, oh my God, what the hell is that? Like St. James, when we talked to the owner there, smelled like someone dumped a gallon of rose perfume over me. He actually smelled his coat thinking it was in his clothes. That's typical of what the real thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Rules and that ghost hunters have, like, don't wear perfume or deodorant. Because we don't want to mistake that for paranormal activity. Is bullshit. It's not, doesn't smell that way. It's overbearing. So perfumes are common, also sewer smells. But the sewer smells would be, it'd be like you're walking in.
You're walking into a room after Hitman and Bob have had Taco Bell.
Worse than that. They're supposed to be like, it's overbearing.
You've never smelled.
We would have to coordinate.
I don't know.
That, but you see my point.
Yes.
Not the faint, little, insignificant things. It's overbearing, strong in there. Okay, movement of objects. There's never been reports of very big objects being moved. It's glasses, plates, chairs. There's not, like, that 500-pound chest levitated. There's nothing of significant weight that they report being moved.
Except at the Plaza Hotel in Las Vegas.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking.
That one they've had multiple stories of this gigantic armoire being moved in front of the door.
And Racer and I couldn't even move it. I mean, it's that heavy. It's huge.
We tried.
Pedro.
It's huge.
We tried.
Yeah, we did.
Well, I'd have to see it actually move before I would buy it. But I'm just telling you, this is what the research says. Another big thing along with that, noises. One of the things that's kind of interesting, though, how many times have you heard the question asked, if you're here, can you tap on that counter over there? Can you make a noise? You know where the root of this comes from? Spiritualism back in the 1920s.
Ah.
And back then, they actually had little retreats, and you can go there with your family, and you could look at they have mediums and crap, and you could try to get a hold of grandma or a celebrity or something. And they were the first ones to do that. You know, if you're here, Lois, knock on the table. You know, and the Racer's hiding in the closet. You know, a lot of charlatan tricks. That's also where ectoplasm came from.
Yep.
But that's the oldest question that is ever asked in ghost investigations. Goes all the way back to the 1920s. One of the big things with noises is that if you can hear it with the human ear, probably has an identifiable source if you researched and checked it out long enough. EVP, oddly enough, was not really researched by them in the early days, probably because they didn't really have decent recording equipment. That didn't come along till a little bit later. But that's a whole new ball of wax. So here's the stuff that you always get that falls outside of that tangent. Scratch marks. There's no report of anybody being scratched, ripped open. We used to have medical people, and it was great when he was around because he could actually look at pictures or, the actual thing and go, actually what you have is a rash. And he says, think about it. Or was Bob, if Bob was here, Bob would say, all right, think about it scientifically. You're talking, you would have to become, supernatural with amazing powers when you die to do that. Mm-hmm. You're talking pinpointing energy to a very fine point, enough where that you could apply pressure and actually cut skin. That's something we can't do right now. I can't, cut loose.
Ow! Oh!
So, teach them to open their mouths again. But that's kind of lay it out a little bit. So I highly encourage folks to actually Google up and look at some of the original research that's been done. There's a lot of fascinating things that are out there and a lot of different studies, and they're part of our history. And why try to replicate and learn that crap again when it's already been done? And it kind of help you on these investigations. So, we do have a guest. You actually found us an excellent guest, which we're going to have in a few weeks.
Yes.
So, it will tie in real nice to the rest of this. But we 9 minutes over. So, that happens sometimes. Don't worry. Don't freak. And so next week we're going to be talking more about this whole psychology and ghost hunting thing. Of course, we'll have more news and whatever else pops up. Any pictures, videos you want us to show, YouTube, just send us URL. We'll check it out. Put that kind of stuff up. Also, any topics you want us to talk about. I know that when we did the scariest places, that was popular.
Yes, it was.
We can look for some more spookier places, kind of give you a tour around them. So that's going to do it for us for tonight. See you guys next week.
Good night.
Good night.